morning, Nicholas. How you doing?
Good morning. Great to have you here at Foundation's headquarters.
World headquarters.
World headquarters.
Why the name Foundation? It's an interesting name for any company, no less a cigar company.
You want to hear the real story?
I would love to.
You know, for me, the word foundation has always had a great significance. Actually, I listen to a lot of reggae music, if you know, and the word foundation actually comes up a lot. Because
Why? I'm not that
well,
familiar
just
with it.
in order to have a really strong just foundation in life, you know, it's always about really just building yourself as the temple, right?
Okay.
Just being a good person, and the foundation of that was always love amongst the reggae community. So
Okay.
it was just sort of a word that I always liked. And then a good friend of mine in
So
Italy.
it defines a spiritual way to live your life?
Correct.
A well-centered, well-balanced,
That's correct.
holistic?
Yeah. I have this is actually the first time I'm talking about it in that light. But yeah, that's really the core of it. Not only is the word just a strong word in itself, you know, when you're thinking of words that people can remember. The word foundation is a word that everybody can pronounce easily and recognize. So as time was going on, and I decided to really venture out on my own back in 2015, a good friend of mine from Italy named Massimo Musico, who was a pipe maker. I used to live in Italy back in 2000. Right by the Trevi Fountain is this beautiful pipe shop.
Right.
Giorgio Musico started the shop along with a gentleman named Fritz Becker, famous pipe maker in Europe. And I used to spend all my days at this pipe shop. It's pretty much in the center of the, Trevi Fountain is where
Right
all the
there,
tourists
the
are.
epicenter.
But in the shop on a daily basis was the businessmen of Rome, the politicians of Rome, the locals that lived in Rome. And I used to go every morning and pack a nice bowl full of tobacco and sit around and listen to all these amazing people. And I had sold these pipes called Becker and Musico at the Calabash, right? So my first week in Rome, I walked into the shop and met this young pipe maker, and I had a reggae shirt on, and he knew it as I walked in the door. And I didn't notice the name on the door because there was no name. There was no signage. It was just this beautiful pipe store. Canes, nice chess sets. And there's no name. And he said, what are you doing? I said, I used to work at a cigar shop and pipe shop. He said, what pipes did you sell? I said, Peterson, Savinelli, Becker and Musico. He said, Becker and Musico? I am Massimo Musico.
Really?
I said, really? I said, nice to meet you. And from there we became best friends. And he was a huge reggae fan. So we sort of connected. And he used to take me to his pipe shop, where three blocks down from the Trevi Fountain was the pipe factory. Little boutique factory where they used to make the pipes. So we used to hang out there all the time. Long story short, he ended up forming a collective in Italy. He didn't export a lot to the United States. He formed a collective of different local pipe makers called Foundation by Massimo Musico.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I called Massimo up and I said, we always had talked about actually doing a pipe project and distributing his pipes in the States. And I said, Massimo, Foundation is not registered in the States. I said, I'm starting up a company. I would love to use Foundation for cigars. If that's not cool with you, no problem. I want you to register it anyway, so at least, no one else can touch it and you have it. And he said, listen, I am the pipe maker. You are the cigar maker. It would be my honor for you to call your company Foundation Cigar Company. So
That's a great story.
yeah. So that was
those philosophical underpinnings of the term foundation, particularly in the reggae culture.
Yeah.
So how has that translate into actual structural operational practices of the foundation company? How does that, me as a customer or a consumer, how does that come through to me? How do I feel that and understand it?
Well, it's because everything we do is we're operating from the cornerstone of passion and love for the industry. And I think that's, we started with just two people. Dave and I started the first.
Dave Sather.
Dave Sather, the VP of Sales. It was just him and I the first year in our team in Nicaragua. And, originally I was going to get a lot of investors to come into the company and start things off at a much, larger level. And I said, for me, I'd rather work for somebody because I don't like debt. And I wanted to do it on my own and really not have to answer to anybody, so I could at least get it going and prove that I, could do this now and start my own brand. So
Did you think having those layers of complexity or investors would be a filter between this concept of foundation, that it would be?
no, not necessarily. No,
blockage?
it was more of a understand investors at that
So it was
point.
more of a financial. That was more
Because
of a
it
financial
was all
decision.
hypothetical at this. I mean, it was all projections, and which is great, but it's not reality. So, for me, I wanted to start off and do it myself and prove that I could do this by myself. But now at this point, I really just I'm just happy to be able to be in control of the creativity and
But how
you know.
much does the philosophy of foundation? Do you feel like you're in a better position to ensure that because you are a owner operator and don't have a host of investors?
Yeah.
Right. So there's less of a filter.
Right.
But so then how do I, as a customer or a consumer,
Yeah.
how do I recognize those foundation concepts? Where does it come through in either the way that you operate as a company,
Yeah.
or the way you communicate with customers, or the finished product itself? What makes you different in that regard?
So I mean, it definitely comes through the brands, of course, and for me the blends, which is for me the foundation of the cigar is well aged, fermented, and cared for tobacco, and that's where the passion comes from, is for the leaf.
Okay.
That's where my experience for the past 15 years has been, working intimately with the leaf on the fermentation, the sorting, selecting. So I just grew a great love for this leaf, and I think that comes through in the products. And you can see through the products is all the products have a very strong. They gear towards culture, history. For me to be able to finally use the box as a canvas to express things that I really love, which is history, culture, and then also balance that and complement the blend with things that I love, is, I think, felt through the products.